names will probably not be written in the history books. Your names will not appear on the front page of the Washington Post or even the local Gazette. But the fact is, it's people like you who make the difference. And I want to thank you. And I mean that from the depths of my heart. At 66 years old, and an African-American man in the United States, our life expectancy is somewhere around 71, 72. And so I find myself, slowly but surely, marching towards my death. But I've come by here for this moment to say to you that this is so much bigger than me, and it's so much bigger than you. And it's so much bigger than Trump, and bigger than Hillary. This is about, and what you're doing is you're involved in the battle for the soul of our democracy. And you gotta understand that. I know you love Hillary, I love Hillary too, but it's bigger than that. Yep. You know, this election has shown us something. First of all, I don't know how much you all know what I do, but I'm the oversight ranking member, top Democrat on the Oversight Committee, and top Democrat on the Benghazi Committee. And I have watched what the Republicans have been doing. Let me just give you a list off the top of my head. When I say we're battling for the soul of our democracy, trying to take away people's right to vote. To me, not only is it not patriotic, but to me it's criminal. When you tell somebody that I'm going to take away your ability to shape your own destiny in the United States of America, that's a problem with me. And I will fight until I die for the Green Party person, for the Freedom Party, I don't give a damn what they are. I will fight for your right to vote. And we all should fight for each other's right to vote, whatever they might be. But there's an effort to make those votes away. When you say to a president that I will not, as a senator, allow you to make an appointment, and I don't even want to talk about it, to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. When you do that, that's another way of cutting down our democracy. Telling them that, okay, you got 10 months left in your term, but we want to save it for the next guy or the next person. And then when they find out that it probably will be Hillary Clinton, then they say, well, we'll go another 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we are battling for the soul of a democracy. That's what this is all about. When you go and you kiss up to a Putin, a man who has not been our friend, and then you beat up on our president, who's done a phenomenal job under phenomenal odds with a lot going against him, because I deal with him every day. You don't know 90% of what he goes through. But this is the other piece. They're gonna give Hillary hell too. They're already getting ready for it. This is about dismantling our democracy. And so, while I am concerned about Trump, I'm more concerned about something else. And I tell people all over the country, you know, sometimes we concentrate a lot on who we're fighting against, but I think we can be more inspired by fighting for, remembering what we are fighting for. Fighting for people like me, a little boy born to two former sharecroppers from Manning, South Carolina. Each one of them with only a fourth-grade education. But yet and still, because of people like you, people who stood up for him, allowed him to, their son, these sharecroppers' son, to emerge not only as a lawyer, but a member of the Congress of the United States of America. It's people like you, that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the 20 million people who now have health care. I'll never forget when the Affordable Care Act passed. About 6 o'clock in the morning one morning, I live in the inner city of Baltimore, about 6 o'clock in the morning, some ladies were knocking on my door. I came to the door, and they had a sign about the size of this sign right here. It simply said, thank you. And I said, why are you thanking me? They said, we're thanking you because we had gotten the diagnosis, and everybody at the hospital told us if the Affordable Care Act passed, we'd be able to get the cure. That's what you're fighting for. You're fighting for the children who simply want to be somebody, who simply want to dream and to be able to grow up and to see a way to get to their dream. That's what you're fighting for. You're fighting for the seniors who want to make sure that Social Security and Medicare are preserved so that when they get older, that they'll be okay. And I know a lot of you all don't think you're gonna get old. But let me tell you something. If you are not there, you'll get there. And so those are the things that we're fighting for. But it takes soldiers in this army. It takes soldiers. Now understand now, you gotta comprehend this. Trump may end up with 40 million votes. And what does that say? That says that there are a lot of Americans who apparently feel like he feels. And what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that as you're going out there and fighting hard, that we're also fighting to make sure that we have people like McGinty in the Senate. Very important. People that will stand up for voting rights. People will, and you know what? I tell my constituents all the time, you did not send me to the Congress to shrink people's rights. No, I didn't go to the Congress for that. I went to the Congress to expand rights. Yeah. To expand rights. And so they tell me, I got to get to a church, but let me tell you. Again, I want you to look at the people in this room. Look around. Just look at them. Look at them. These are your fellow soldiers. These are your soldiers. And look at them with a new glance. When you look at them again, think about what I'm about to say. Our diversity is not our problem. Our diversity is our promise. It is our promise. This is what it's all about. We must maintain coalitions of like-thinking people who make a determination that you are going to put your hands on the future of generations yet unborn. That's what this is all about. It's not about today. It's not even about tomorrow. It's not just about the next generation. It's about generations. But when they look back on us 100 years from now, when they look back, and your great-great-grandchildren say, what did grandma do? Where was granddaddy? Somebody will say, they'll open up an old scrapbook and say, oh, here's a Hillary Clinton sign. Here's some notes that he wrote back then. Oh, it looks like granddaddy, oh, look, I got a canceled check. He didn't have much money, but he gave us $10. All of that, all of those things matter. Your time matters. And I know that there are people who are sitting in this room right now who somebody said, why are you wasting your time? Come on, go to the football game with me. Hello. As the Ravens play the Steelers. But anyway. But the fact is that you are contributing. And so my predecessor, a fellow named Aaron Mitchell, used to say a poem after every speech. And this poem lives in my heart. I didn't understand it now, but as my mother would say, I understood it by and by. He says, I only have a minute, 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, I did not choose it, but I know that I must use it. Give account if I abuse it, suffer if I lose it. Only a tiny little minute. But eternity is in it. Ladies and gentlemen, some of us are given a minute that lasts 40 years. Some of us are given a minute that lasts 87 years. But whatever the piece of the minute that we can use that can affect the future of our children and our children's children, then that's what it's all about. You are gifts that keep on giving. And no, as I said, you won't be on the front page of the Washington Post. But you know what? You will have made a great contribution as we march toward this more perfect union. May God bless.
God bless you.